Welcome everyone to another Stonehearth gameplay video. This video, I want to do something a little different. If you've been following along with our Let's Play series of Stonehearth through the first couple of episodes, then you'll recognize this village as the one from our Let's Play video, and you'll recognize these buildings as some custom buildings that I put down for our villagers to begin the game. And as I was doing so, I mentioned that I had created some custom templates for these buildings using only materials that would be available at the beginning of the game through a carpenter. So they serve a few purposes. First of all, we need somewhere for the villagers to sleep, to eat, to work, all that kind of thing. But we also need to level up our carpenter at the beginning of the game, and it serves that purpose as well because it keeps them busy. So let's take a look at how that happened, because in this video I want to talk a little bit more about these custom buildings. First and foremost, let's go ahead and take a look inside. You can see that these buildings that I've done are nothing special. I'm not the most creative guy for sure. I'm not going to create anything that's going to make you, ooh and ah about my creativity level, but they're functional. And you can see inside of this building, I located the beds in the front and the rear, and then I also left room for them to eat. So then that's our beginning building for everyone to sleep and eat. Then I've got a building here, a basic building for the carpenter with a bed, the carpenter's workbenches, and a few crates here for storage. Again, nothing special there. Then I designed a very basic storage building, which is nothing more than storage boxes with enough room in between to give a center aisle down the middle for them to walk, and then as many storage boxes as I could put in there. Again, these are very entry-level storage boxes for the beginning of the game. So you'll have access to storage boxes that will hold much more than this as you progress through the game on your own. But then, in our Let's Play video, what happened is, well, we've got a couple of new things now. We've got a mason, and we've also got a loom, a spinning wheel, and a weaver workbench, all for the weaver. So you've got some different things that come up throughout the game, and each profession has their own workbenches. You can see the mason also has a pedestal that we've not yet unlocked because he's not high enough level yet. But I thought I would take this video as an opportunity to let you guys see just some of the basics of how I design my buildings, and then you guys can let your creativity take over and you can design something far better than what I've done. So for this purpose, we're going to focus on the basics. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause the game here for just a moment. All right, so first we're going to go to our building menu, and then if we want to place a building, we can go here, and it shows you the templates that come with the game for the Ascendancy group of folks. And you can see there it comes with a basic carpenter house, which is much more elaborate than mine. A small cottage for 2 people, a dining hall for them to eat in, a building much like what I've done here with multiple sleeping arrangements, and then a very tiny cottage. Now on the next tab, you've got any custom buildings that you've designed, and you can see the 3 buildings here that we have in the world. Well, I want to design a new building here for our weaver. All right, so now you come to the building designer screen, and on here you're going to see all of the available options that you have. First, you've got roads that you can design, very handy because your villagers will travel faster on roads. You've got foundations, that's what we'll start with for our building. You've got walls, and then finally your roof. So that takes care of your building, gives you ability to add doors and then windows to your building as well. You can also use slabs that you can lay down on the ground and build that way. You can build stairs, and you can see there that you can have stairs to have multiple levels in your homes, or you can build freestanding walls, which, as you can see here, you can build segment by segment and then make them as tall as you want. Once you're done with your building, or at least get the base of it done, then you can start placing the various furnitures inside, from storage all the way through beds and so forth. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at the basics here. So we're going to start by designing our building. And what do we want to start with? Now, for me, I like to use the most basic materials simply because I want to use things that are readily available. And for me, particularly in this world, you can see we've got wood everywhere. Stone is also available, but in this case, I would have to go up here to mine that. And then clay has to be made by your potter, which I don't have right now, so I stay away from that. I consider that more of an advanced building tool, but if you need to level up your potter, then that is definitely a great way of doing it. So let's go ahead and make it, and I'm going to try to make this fit in with our existing design plan here, as basic as it may be. And I'm going to start out with this pattern. And again, we can see it already on the floors here. See what that looks like. And I'm just going to continue with that pattern. All right, so we've chosen wood, we've chosen our pattern. And then I'm just going to go over here for the time being because I don't intend to place this building. I'm just going to simply create the template. So I'm going to start out with a basic 10 by 10. So what I've done here, once I select my material, I'm going to click and hold on the left mouse button, and let's go ahead and get started. There's our basic 10 by 10. Let go of the left mouse button, and then we've got our floor down. Now we'll be able to expand that later should we need to. So we're going to be working for a building for our weaver. So I'm going to next come in here, and this is what I recommend you do next. First, get your basic floor down. Again, you can always expand the size, so don't worry if you don't have it the exact size, or if you're not sure, how big it needs to be to fit everything you want to fit in there. Don't worry about it. We can expand that later. So now what I consider to be the most important part is go ahead and put in the building all the furniture and items that you're going to want in there. So for the weaver, let's go ahead and start here. And I'm not going to worry too much about how things are placed and what orientation, because that really isn't all that important to me. But you can see I can place it wherever I'd like. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and place the loom there. The spinning wheel, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave a space in between. Let's see, let's spin this around and make sure. Yeah, so that's the back. Okay, so we're going to leave a couple of spaces there. Then we're going to go ahead and do the workbench. And I'm going to sort of leave this right in there. Again, not that great use of space, but that's okay. We got plenty of room in here. Then, just like I did over here, I'm going to go ahead and put down a bed and then a couple of storage boxes. So let's go ahead and start out with the storage boxes. And already you can see that, and while I'm thinking about it, the materials that you show here will be based on the level of craftsman that you have so far in the game. So if you don't have access to all of these, then it's probably because your carpenter and or weaver and so forth are at a lower level than mine are in game. And once you get to a level where your various craftsmen are higher level than mine, you'll have access to more materials than what I show here. So let's go ahead and we're going to keep things simple. We're going to put some large crates out here. And let's see, I want to put the crates. Let's see, I'm going to need more room. I can already tell that. So let's go ahead and put a bed in here, a very basic bed. And we're going to rotate it. You can see on the screen using the comma and period keys. So let's go ahead and do that. Make sure I've got plenty of room in here. That'll be enough room there. Okay, and then we're going to need some crates. Now, before we do that, I can already tell I'm going to need some more room. So let's go back to our foundations, choose our foundation again. And as you can see here, as I drag this, see, I didn't start out quite far enough out. You can see that I can very easily expand this because what I wanted to do was add 2 in every direction. So now I'm at a 14 by 14. Click and drag just as I did before. And now you can see we have an expanded area to work with. Now let's come back to our large crates and let's see if we've given enough room. Now, how many crates you put in there? For me, it's mostly decoration purposes. So I'm going to put down 1, 2, and then I'm going to throw another one down right here as well. So I'm going to give him access to 3. And the good thing about giving multiple of these here, nearby your craftsman, is that you can further filter these out and only allow certain things to be stored in them and specialize them to your particular profession. Okay, so for me, as I look around, I could have used a much bigger chest, more efficient use of space, or I could have used a smaller one, but I chose not to. You can see we've got some various different options here, but I didn't put anything, the dressers and stuff, because as far as I know, these are only decorative and I don't have much of a use for them right now because these are very basic level, entry level buildings. So I'm done with everything I wanted to put inside of this particular building. So what do I want to do now? Well, what I want to do is I want to show you a couple of things that you can do. First, you've got an erase tool up here. Then you've got an undo. So if you place something and then you decide you don't like it, use the undo function. Then you've got the erase tool that you can decide, okay, I don't like that, so I got rid of the bed just that quick by clicking on the erase tool and then click on, once again, the thing you want to get rid of. Okay, for us, we want to put the bed back in here, and I'm going to put the bed, actually I wanted to put it a little bit farther toward the corner of the building, so I'm going to go ahead and place it back right there. Okay, and it's important that you go ahead and get all the furniture down before you start adding walls and a roof, simply because once you add the walls, as far as I'm aware, you're unable to get rid of them, and we'll see that in just a moment. So make sure that you have all of the items inside that you want and have enough space. It's particularly important that you have the total surface area that you want inside, because once you put the walls up, as far as I know, there's no way to get rid of the walls, and then you're just sort of stuck with the space that you have. So for this case, I'm not going to make this multiple level or anything, so I won't be needing stairs. So before we can put our doors and windows and things like that in, let's go ahead and put our walls in. Now, just as I used over here, I'm going to go ahead and choose this same pattern. Okay, so we're going to use wood and then this pattern. And as you can see, all I have to do is, once I've selected them, just sort of move my mouse over the area and the walls will automatically fit themselves in. Okay, see how that works? And you can see they're going to take up part of our square footage. So you have to make sure you account for that whenever you're placing items. As you can see, before we placed walls, we actually have an extra block of space over here on the side around the corner. But once I add walls, it takes up that space. So keep that in mind. We're going to go ahead and place these walls down. And we can see, you can also play around with the different materials and say, I think I want to use that. How does that look? No, I don't like that. So let's go ahead and change it back. And then you can select a different, left click to select a different area, try out the different colors, different patterns, until you finally get the one you want. So you can see a lot of customization available to you there. Okay, we've got the pattern we want. So now let's go ahead and add a door here. And I'm going to add a very basic door, again, entry level type of thing. So I'm going to add my door. Let's see, where are we with the bed? So I'm going to add the door right there. Again, simply left click on the item that you want to place, and then left click again in the area where you want to place it on the building. So that puts our door next to the bed, so it's got a clear line of sight and walking room throughout the building. And do we want to fit any windows in here? Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and put, again, I'm going to put a basic window in and left click there and then decide where I want it. As you can see, I can place them just about anywhere. And I'm going to place one right there. And now that gives me the ability to see in. Let's go ahead and do one on the other side as well. And then you can also go ahead and put on any of these exterior walls that you want. In fact, you can add another, additional doors, windows, and so forth all the way around. Then we've got some decorative items that we have under furniture. Well, I thought they were under furniture. No, there they are. They're under decorations. How about that? Oddly enough, they're under decorations, and you can see here that if I want to place some curtains, I can definitely place curtains around. Here they are inside the building. I can place them around the wall and so forth. Now, I'm not going to do that again because that's something else that will need to be made by a craftsman, and I'm not exactly sure that I have everything as high level as I need for that. The game gives you some different options. You got a basic wall sign if you want to hang one, a carpenter sign, a sign for the inn, a mason sign, and a weaver sign. So I could, if I wanted to, go ahead and hang a sign for the weaver right outside here. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and hang his sign right there. So that shows where our weaver is located. Okay, then we see all of the items that we have inside. And you've also got the ability, if you want to have some planters for your flowers, put those out front as well. In fact, let's see, I did that on one of the buildings, I think. Maybe I didn't. Thought I did. Yeah, there they are. They're actually on the back, hidden right now. So you've got various different options for what you can do, and you can get as fancy or as simple as you want with these. Let's go ahead and go back over to our building, and let's go ahead and put a roof on. Okay, now you've got, as usual, you have your options on what materials you want to make the roof out of. I want to stick with wood. And then you've got a couple of basically color options. I like the darker roof, so we're going to stick with that. Again, it matches up with the roof that we've used on previous buildings. And then you've got your slope, direction, and size. Let me show you what this means. By default, your roof will be 4 high. So you can see, I'm not actually going to place this one, but you can see what that looks like. You can see the stair-step design, and you might be wondering, why is it only on 2 sides? Why is it not on this side and the other side? Well, that's because of what I use here. If I go ahead and do north-south, then you can see it stair-steps in all directions, and you can see what the final product will look like for your roof. It's telling you that the max height is 4, so there you have it. Now, what happens if I unclick all of those? Well, you just get a basic roof pattern like you see over here. And the reason I did that is because it's very basic, quicker to build, and it uses fewer resources. So it gets done quicker. So that's why I did that. And you can see there's no difference. Once you choose a basic roof with no overhangs, by the way, here's where you can configure your overhang. So right now, you can see it's 1 tile in every direction. And we can see if we zoom in here, you can see it hangs over by 1 tile. And I can make that be anything I want in whatever direction I want. And you can see here. Now, you don't have to necessarily make it symmetrical. You can see how it hangs off in different amounts in different locations based on what I choose. So in this case, I'm going to leave everything at 1 and do a basic one. So we're going to place that on. But before we do that, I do want to show you a couple more variations. Let's take a look and see what would it be if we chose this color, and you can get an idea what it looks like there. And then you can see here, you've got your castle look that you can choose, and I do plan on using this in the future. Got some things planned for our walls that we can use that for. And then you can see here, if you choose this option, now you've got a very nice look. I like that look right there a lot. That looks very nice. But again, it's just a little bit more advanced than where I'm at right now because I don't have anybody who can make the clay bricks for me right now. So I'm going to stick with the basic, no slope, and your basic 0 overhang. You can see you can change that to 1 as well if you don't want any overhang. And let's go ahead and place that. All right, now we can see the shadow of what our building is going to look like and make sure that this is something we're okay with. And it is for me. I think this looks good. Any more furniture I want to add? I don't think so. I think we're good. So if I click off the designer, you can see it goes away. Thankfully though, it does come back. All right, so we're done with our building. I'm happy with everything. I've placed all the decorations, doors, windows, etc. that I want to. So how do we go ahead and save and or build our design? Well, in this case, what you need to do is go ahead and right click in the world to make sure you're not about to place any items or anything that you have over here. That gives you your cursor back, and then simply left click on your building, and you can see that it has an option at the bottom, and it says finish editing, and the answer for me is yes. And now you can choose to build it. In this case, what I want to do is save it, and then you'll have an opportunity to name it. And I'm going to name this one Weaver Basic for a very basic entry-level building for the Weaver. Save that. And now if we come back out of the menu entirely and go back into place a building, now you can see under our custom menu, here's our building. We can click on it, and now we can move this thing around the world and place it wherever we like. So that's how I was able to accomplish designing a custom building in the Let's Play and then placing a custom building. So what I can do with this one is, if I'm finished building it, but I don't want to actually put this building right here, I can simply click remove. So we're going to remove this building and it's gone. However, if we want to come back to it and place it in the world, we can do so. We can rotate it to be in whatever orientation we want, and we're all set. So as you can see, the tool will allow you to create very complex buildings all the way down to very basic entry-level buildings like what you see with mine. I hope you've enjoyed this brief tutorial on designing custom buildings. Hope you were able to learn something. Feel free to leave comments and suggestions below, and we'll see you later on for more Stonehearth.